Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, and welcome to Knowledge Talks. A weekly entertainment and knowledge sharing program aired live specifically to share with you topics that contribute knowledge to the society. Every week, Knowledge Talk hosts and invite guests that are experts, professional, and leaders from the field locally that bring wealth of knowledge to you. Knowledge Talks also highlights and promotes talents in the country that contribute knowledge and success to the nation. This program, ladies and gentlemen, is a weekly session that I will have with you every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. I'm your host, Tariq Al-Barwai, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safiya, for an hour bringing you free knowledge at your doorsteps on Oman Radio FM 90.4. Now, stay tuned after the music break for today's knowledge interview with a very, very interesting guest. Welcome back to Knowledge Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tariq Al-Barwai, along with our studio engineer, DJ Safiya, with you here live today on Oman Radio FM 90.4. Nabil Al Busaidi, also known aka Nabs. He is the first Arab to row across any ocean a distance of about 4,600 kilometers. Now, less than 500 people have rowed an ocean, and this attempt was the 16th fastest ever. He walked 650 kilometers to magnetic North Pole. He is Omani and has stamped his name in the Arab world. That's Nabs. Nabs, my great friend, has been featured in a number of magazines where he was named as the Sporting Hero of Oman 2009, the Arabian Business Magazine Top 500 Arabs in 2010, Esquire Magazine Humanitarian of the Year in 2011, Ahlan Magazine Hot 100 in 2012. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to invite Nabs to speak about his challenges and experiences with us here in Oman on air. And yes, we also invite you to call in on 24602058 to ask and speak with Nabs directly. You can ask questions and he will answer to your questions live here with us here at Knowledge Talks. The number again, ladies and gentlemen, is 24602058. And yes, Nabs is with us here today. Nabs, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing today?
I'm very happy to be with you. You introduced me so well. I'm excited to hear me talk now.
Well, in fact, Nabs, I don't think I've introduced you too well. You know, when someone wants to introduce you,
actually,
they're going to write a book. I tell you that.
We need to one correction. You said I was the sporting hero of Oman. I was one of. It wasn't just me. There was Mohsin Al Busaidi who sailed around the world. Okay. There was several other guys as well.
That's being humble, man. That's being humble. I know you, Nabs. I know you. I'm one of your fans. You know that, or you don't?
Yeah. I've realized.
I mean, you're one of your fans. I like all the activities that you do. I know this is a pride for Oman. You know, to have the first Arab to row across the ocean. MashaAllah. I mean, you should be very proud of yourself, Nabs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the things that I've done, I know because I know that they're quite unique because they're in. You know, they're on the internet. I'm in the Guinness World Book of Records. I mean, the records for all these things. You know, as being the first Arab, so it's quite impressive. Yeah. But day to day, it doesn't really mean anything necessarily.
To you,
apart from every time I meet you.
Yeah, I tell you.
And then I feel special every time I meet you.
No, seriously like that, Nabs. MashaAllah. I mean, we're all proud of you. We all Omanis here are very proud of you. I mean, whatever you've done is a great success. You should be very, very proud, and I'm sure your parents are very, very proud of you. I'm sure they're listening to the radio today.
I think they'd rather I just got married.
You're not married.
No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the number to call in is 24602058, and then you can go ahead and this is an opportunity for you get hold of Nabs. I didn't know that. I thought you're already married.
One of the questions I get asked is, what did your family, what did your friends say when you said you were going to walk to the North Pole?
Right.
And the thing my mother said was, can't you get married? So there's some people who are less impressed about the North Pole than.
But I tell you one thing. So when is the big day then?
Oh,
have you planned
my God.
something?
I planned the wedding. I planned the stag night. I just have to find the wife, obviously.
So you have. You don't have. You have.
No.
Tell you one thing. There'll be a list. If we leave the studio today, I'm sure we're gonna have a list waiting for you, Nabs.
Actually, this isn't the reason I came on the show, right? for you to get me married.
We get thawab for that, Yeah. We get the points. I'm working hard for that.
Okay.
Tell me one thing, Nabs. Could you please share us about your profile? How did it all start, and why walking the North Pole?
Well, the last question first. Why walking to the North Pole? It was actually quite a involved story, but I was working in Bahrain. I've lived most of my life outside of Oman. I was working in Bahrain, and I met a friend who I knew from running.
Okay.
So we used to go running in the cross country running club in Bahrain.
Okay.
So I met him. He was having lunch in a restaurant. I sat down with him. We were chatting about stuff. He said, I'm thinking about climbing Everest. Would you like to come? Okay. And I was like, no. I've got to get back to work. I can't go to. I'm having lunch. That's it. Anyway, it was in my head. I was thinking Everest. Why not? Why don't I go? If I don't do it now, when am I ever going to go to Everest? So I contacted a friend of mine from the UK, and he's done a lot of these expeditions. And I said, what do you think? And he said, don't go to Everest because 4,000 people have already done it. And an Egyptian and a Saudi, a Kuwaiti. There's lots of Arabs have done it and lots of people have done it. Go to the North Pole. Only 200 people have walked.
Okay.
And no Arab has done it.
Wow.
Now, the key thing here, he said, is not, if you're the youngest person to climb Everest, somebody will come next year and beat you. If you're the oldest, somebody will come the next year and he'll be older and beat you. If you're the strongest, the fastest, anything, if you have a record, somebody can always come later and beat your record. But if you're the first...
You'll always be the first.
You'll always be the first.
I like that.
Until they invent time travel. And then...
And that's what happened with Christopher Columbus. He was the first one who discovered America. Now, many people have come and known about America, but he is the first. And Nabs, you are the first too. Mashallah.
Exactly. So he said, go to the North Pole. And so all of a sudden, I just switched from all these other ideas I had. I said, okay, very good point. First Arab, I'm going to do that. And one of the reasons was, I was thinking, I don't like the cold, but if I don't do it, who's going to do it?
I like that.
Yeah. I can't, you can't keep saying somebody should do it. Somebody should do this. Somebody should. I said, all right, I'm going to do it.
Has any other Arab did it after you?
No. There's a guy called Maxime Chea, who is Lebanese. Well, he's from Lebanon, but he says he's European, but I think he's, Anyway, he walked the geographic North Pole. He's also done geographic South and Everest. So he's actually done a lot more than I've done. But he didn't walk to the magnetic North Pole. It's a technical difference, magnetic and geographic. I mean, we still had to walk about 700 kilometers each, but we started from different points, ended in different points.
Okay, and one is different than the other one, maybe?
I couldn't say what. I don't think there is any significant difference.
Okay, but anyway, the fact is the only Arab to have walked the magnetic pole is Nabs.
Yes, exactly.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Not only he's Arab, he's Omani as well. A pride for Oman, mashallah. Now, tell me one thing. When climbing the North Pole and not the Everest, the reason going for the North Pole because no one has done it. Have you gone to any other like the Everest?
Well, so just to be clear, you don't climb the North Pole.
Yeah. You walk.
Yeah, you walk. It's flat, so you have to. One of the most common questions I had before I went to the North Pole in Oman, the most common question was, "Where is the North Pole?" Okay, so it suddenly made me realize that from the older generation, most people probably didn't understand or probably didn't have the concept of, they probably didn't have the geographical lessons, So the North Pole, the whole area of the North Pole is water. Okay. And what's happened is, because it's so cold, there's a thin layer of ice. Okay, so I say thin, but it's 5 meters thick or 60 meters. But it's actually just a floating ice cube. Okay, so there's no climbing. You just start at the beginning of the ice cube and you walk all the way to the middle. Okay, so just to get that clear, so we didn't climb; we had to walk across this, and because the sea's moving, this iceberg or this big long ice sheet keeps on breaking and reforming and crashing.
Man, isn't this dangerous?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
The later you go in the season, the warmer it becomes, the more the thinner the ice becomes. The thinner the ice becomes, the more it cracks, the more it breaks, the more it crashes. So yeah, it gets more dangerous.
Yeah. You use the word we. How many were you?
Well, in total, I think there were 14 people, but in my team, and it was called Team Oman, there was just 3 of us.
Omanis?
No.
Okay, you called it Team Oman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Called it Team Oman. We were sponsored by Soha Aluminium.
Okay.
And they didn't want any credit. They just said, we're going to fund you to go to the North Pole. Call it Team Oman. We want Oman to get the recognition,
I like
the
that.
profile.
That's a very noble cause.
So and if it hadn't been for Soha Aluminium, this probably would never have happened.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. We've received a number of questions. Let me tell you one thing first thing. A lot of people like you, man. You got a lot of fans. Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, you are my biggest fan, and you have probably filtered all the bad questions and all the haters, and you've filtered it down and said, oh no, you got a lot of fans. Okay.
No, mashallah, you got great fans. I'll tell you one thing. One of the questions I want to relate it, I'm going to take one of the questions here, which was asked one of your fans, is, on such an adventure, when you come close to thin line between life and death, what do you think at that moment?
Okay, so
that looks like an original question. You remember what you said?
Okay. So I challenged Tariq earlier, because I said, he was asking me, what questions do you want to ask? What questions can I ask? And I said, doesn't matter what you ask me, I'll have been asked every single question that you could think of. I've been asked. Don't worry. I'm pausing to think about this question because it depends on the depth that I want to answer this question. So, on the surface of it, normally when you're in a car crash, you don't have time to think. You react as quickly as possible. So that's the thin answer. That's the but if you want a deeper answer about what you think about, all the things that rush through your head, for me, so I've done a lot of dangerous things, and you see some people, they freeze. When there's a crisis, some people freeze, and some people, their minds slow down, and everything. And so that's what happens with me. So when something happens, like for example, I nearly fell off the boat when we were rowing the Atlantic. We were changing shift.
Okay.
And now what you have to remember is we were in a rowing boat. There was no support boat. There was no engine. There were no sails. There was nothing. So if you fell off the boat could not turn around because the current was taking you towards America. Okay. If you fell out the boat, you were stuck. If you could swim back to the boat as quickly as possible and get hold of the boat, then you were saved. If you didn't, they throw you a life vest and they hit the emergency button and hope that a ship can come and rescue you. That means if you fall off the boat, that's it. You have to hope. There's no rescue. God. So all of these things, so as I was changing shift, we got hit by a wave. Okay. And as that wave tipped the boat, I almost fell out the boat. Now, as I was falling out the boat, of course, I was starting to panic. I'm thinking, oh my God, if I fall out, that's it. I'm dead. Either the sharks get me or I die in the sea waiting for someone to rescue me. And I thought, as I was falling out and twisting as falling out, I grabbed onto this rope one-handed. And even though my arm was twisted, so I didn't grab it straight. If you can imagine, your arm is twisted almost 180 degrees. Sure. And I was holding onto this rope and supporting my body weight, thinking, don't let go, because if you let go, that's your life. So even if you break your arm, even if I break my wrist, I must not let go of my hand. My hand must not let go of that rope. That's what I was thinking. That was everything that was going through my mind as that happened.
Now, I want to ask you this question. Before you go, and now there's a risk of, you might not come back. Wasn't that there in your mind?
Yeah.
What about your family, friends? Did you tell
they
them about it?
they were happy if I didn't come back.
Definitely not.
Some of them. Some no. Yeah. In fact, for the North Pole, which was my first expedition, my first major expedition, I should say, because I've been to Kilimanjaro, but Kilimanjaro is not a big expedition. Kilimanjaro, 100 people do it every day, and kids do it. 11-year-old kids do it. It's not what you would call an expedition.
Okay.
Okay, it's more like an adventure holiday. If you fall down on Kilimanjaro, one of the guides will carry you down to the hospital, or something will happen. Yeah? You fall down, you break your arm, you break your leg in the middle of the North Pole. Who's going to rescue you? You have to rescue yourself or die. So that's it. So when I went on that first expedition, that dying and the consequences of dying and how I might die were weighing on my mind heavily. What would happen if I broke my leg? How would I extricate myself from the North Pole with a broken leg? What would happen if I broke my arm or shoulder, or or a whole bunch of things? What would I do if contingencies, and how to mitigate those contingencies, and how to prepare and plan contingency plans for that. So that was weighing on my mind a lot. But by the time I got to the I went to Kilimanjaro, I went to the Antarctic, I climbed the highest mountain in the Antarctic. I was the second Arab to do that. So not very many people have actually been to the Antarctic continent, and only 1,400 have climbed this mountain. I went and did that, and by the time I got to the Atlantic, it was something that didn't weigh on my mind as much.
Okay, tell me one thing. The Kilimanjaro, does it mean anyone can do it?
Oh yeah,
can
absolutely.
I go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
When I was in Qatar, I was working in Qatar for 2.5 years. One of the projects that the Olympic Committee I was working on for the Olympic Committee was taking kids from schools in Qatar and taking them to go climb Kilimanjaro.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's very, very nice.
Kids from 12 to 18. Any kids from 12 to 18, they had to do some tests, like they had to walk 5 kilometers, they had to walk upstairs just to prove their physical fitness. But the key thing for them is, for anyone, whether you're old or young, is to take it slowly.
To take it slowly.
The ones who always mess it up are the ones who are fit, who think, that's not a problem, because it's not the actual physical exertion that's the problem, it's the altitude acclimatization, which is completely independent of fitness.
Okay, what kind of things would you recommend or advise for someone that would like to go to walk into an expedition of a sort? Do they need to be, well fed?
Obviously very fit. If you're talking about, but you see, you're asking, if you're asking about, let's say, going to the North Pole, my honest advice, I don't recommend it.
You don't recommend it?
No,
okay.
Only 200 people out of 10 billion people have ever done it.
Is there any?
So if you came up to me, Tariq Al-Barwai, and you said, I want to go walk to the North Pole, I'd say, don't do it.
Okay.
You've got very little chance of making it.
Wow. Okay.
Just concept or mathematically. If you really, really, really desperately, burningly deep inside want to do it, then I'd help you.
Okay.
But the fact is, think about it, 200 people have ever walked to the, I can't remember exact numbers, but let's say roughly 200 people have walked to the magnetic North Pole or the geographic North Pole. Very few people have done it. Think about how many people have been in the history of humankind and how many people have done it. Okay, let's say only the last 100 years count, because the last 100 years is when people have started doing these adventurous things. But still, that's a lot of people and very few have done it. But if you're talking about Kilimanjaro,
go ahead.
Yeah, it's completely different. We're talking about, this is what they call adventure tourism. It's something that's within the grasp of 50% of the population.
Okay.
Physically, anyone can do it if they prepare properly.
What's the kind of activities or exercise they need to do? What is it? Is it push-ups? Is it running?
No, for Kilimanjaro, it's a walk.
Just walk.
Yeah.
And how walk?
Kilimanjaro is a very shallow a very shallow sloped mountain. It's the highest mountain in the world that you can walk up, which means you don't actually have to climb. There's no climbing. There's no four hands and feet. No, you just walk. The whole way, you're just walking.
Okay.
There are some steep bits. It's like walking upstairs, but it's still walking. So, which is why I said almost anyone can do it. Which is why they were talking about sending, the school children in from Qatar to go and do it, because it's it's an achievement that you can't buy. And this is why it's so important. This is why the Olympic Committee in Qatar was so keen on promoting this in Qatar, because, without shows of wealth or status, let's say you have an expensive watch, you just buy these things. But you can say to me, I've climbed Kilimanjaro and I can't buy that. But this Kilimanjaro is actually something, if you think about it, if I say I've climbed the highest mountain in Africa, that's quite an achievement.
That's
Okay.
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, it's quite an achievement. It's quite a peg to, put an achievement on. But when you actually get down to it, with very little preparation, almost anyone can do it.
Okay. Now, tell me one thing. Do a number of people would like to walk and would like to walk with you, in fact, Nabs. Do you train? Do you provide any training or sessions?
Me? No. Do I train personally, or can I train people?
No, can you train people? I would like to go. Would you train me?
Yeah.
I know you're gonna do worse than me.
Of course,
no. But
yeah.
Would
Okay.
you train people? Well, why I'm saying that?
I have
Nabs,
not-
You
I
got a
ha-
brand. You got a great brand, mashallah.
Okay.
And I think probably you can come Nabs School, Nabs Academy in Oman. Something in that way, where you train people to go and walk and go to the North Pole. There are people say, no, I can't do it. But you say, no, you can do it. Because, no, seriously, you could do that. That's just one of the thoughts.
Absolutely, I could. But first of all, you've got to get me married. You've already got.
Don't worry, after the program today.
You got your project set up for me. You're going to get me married. Now you're going to get me the Adventure Sports Academy, which is a great idea and something that I already had.
Yeah.
But and I think it would work very well in Oman as well, because you've got so much natural beauty. There's so many intermediate steps, like climbing Jabal Akhtar. Exactly. There's an intermediate step right on our footsteps. Climb Jabal Akhtar. I think there's actually probably steeper bits on Jabal Akhtar. It's actually probably harder to climb Jabal Akhtar than climb Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is easier to climb, but Kilimanjaro takes longer. It'll take you 5-6 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
5-6 days to walk.
But you see, the problem is it's the acclimatization. This is a technical thing that people do not understand. The higher you get, the thinner the air gets. Okay? So as the air gets thinner, there's less oxygen going into your lungs, less oxygen going into your blood.
So
right?
do you do that? Do you take some kind of some utilities or anything that can help you with that?
There are, but anyone is genetically able to acclimatize to altitude, but you have to take it slowly. So when I did it, I think we took 7 days.
7 days. Like
7
Kilimanjaro.
days. Kilimanjaro, yeah.
What
Because
about the North Pole?
North Pole is not at altitude. It's at sea level.
Okay.
Remember, it's an ice cube floating. So the highest we would have been was 20 meters maybe above sea level.
Okay, but the whole journey, how long did it take you in North Pole?
Oh, okay. The North Pole took me 24 days to walk.
24 days. Would you go again?
No, why? I've done it. It's crazy.
No, what we're saying, for instance, we're going to have an academy and someone says, Nabs, I want to be like you. Okay, me, Tariq now. Nabs, I want to walk. I'm going to attend your sessions, inshallah. And I'm saying, I want to walk. I want to go to North Pole again with you. Would you take us there? Would you go?
If I ever did it again, I would walk to the geographic North Pole. I wouldn't walk to the magnetic. Because I've already done the magnetic.
Okay.
I would do the geographic.
The reason is it because of the risk of any casualty that can happen? Or?
No. Just because I've already done it. Why be the first and second Arab to go to the magnetic North Pole? It's silly.
No, but say for training purposes, and people want to go with you. Let's say you get a batch here in Oman, 10 to 20 people.
Yeah.
One of the companies comes up and says, we're going to sponsor this activity, and Nabs, we want you to be the captain. Will you do it? That's an original question, Tariq. No, but anyway, that was one of my questions. But I think you should consider that.
I've been asked this lots of times, and nobody's ever pushed it this far. The answer is no. I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do the. I would if I was going to do anything like that again. It would be geographic North Pole and geographic South Pole.
Oh, okay.
And the geographic South Pole is something that I was actually planning to do with the help of some of the companies in Oman. I was in 2011. I was hoping to get there 100 years after Scott and Amundsen did it. So I would have been the first Arab to do it.
Okay.
And it would have been 100 years exactly since the first person did it. Unfortunately, there was a death in the family, and we had to cancel here.
Okay, sorry to hear about that. Ladies and gentlemen, the number to call in is 24602058. Nabs is here with us here on air. If you have any questions, this is your opportunity. We've got 30 minutes to go, but this 30 minutes for you. 24602058. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tariq Al-Barwai, along with our DJ Abdullah Al-Badri. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have Nabs with us here. Before the music break, we talked about the expeditions that Nabs has been onto, and the challenges that he has faced. And now let us continue our interesting interview today with Nabs. In fact, Nabs, Father Al-Rasadi, a good friend of mine, just sent me a message right now and says he's very, very pleased that you are on air, and he would like to go to Kilimanjaro with you.
You've look what you've started.
That's what I'm telling you.
At least you asked to marry me.
There you go, Father. Okay, jokes aside, you appeared in many magazines.
Yes.
MashaAllah. Now, what does success mean to you?
You know what? Actually, recently, I'll tell you what success has meant. Because at the end of the day, I told you, most of the time during the day, going to the North Pole means very little, right?
Okay.
The one good thing about it is I've been to some schools. So when I was living in Bahrain, in fact, I think it started here. When I was in Oman, I met this a girl, a teacher, and she was a teacher at the PDO school. And she met me, and she just said, "Oh, you know, I'd love you to come and talk to my kids." And I just said, "Well, what am I going to talk to kids about? I don't know what to." You know, I just thought, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to. You know, because if I talk to the kids, I can imagine when I was a kid and somebody had gone to the North Pole and come to my school and talked, I would have been so excited. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be the guy that goes and excites these kids. Anyway, it started in, I don't know, in 2009. And every now and again, I'll meet a teacher and they'll ask me. And I've been doing a few school visits. But more recently, I came up with the idea. Specifically, what happened was a school in Bahrain that I went to school back in the 1980s. And I knew some of the teachers there. They said, "Oh, come and talk to the kids." And I said, "Yeah, that's a brilliant idea." And I talked to them before I went to the North Pole, and then I talked to them after. And these kids were so great. Before I went to Everest, they said, "Come back to the school. We're going to do a sponsored climb of Everest." And they set up all these benches, and they were stepping up and down, up and down, up and down, stepping. Yeah. And each time they were counting how many steps. And between 120 kids, they stepped 29,000 times, which is the same height as Everest. And they did it in 20 minutes. And they filmed it, and they made a big thing, and they got it sponsored. And they raised, I think it was $25,000 for charity in 20 minutes. I said, It's such a brilliant idea. Now, this is what success, or the success for me means.
Okay.
I can now go to schools. I can talk to the kids, I can inspire them to do a similar event, and they can raise money for their charity.
MashaAllah.
So in Qatar, I went to Stendon University, and they organized the world's biggest game of hide and seek. So I got another world record.
Wow.
The world's biggest game of hide and seek. There was like, I think, 1,400 kids all hiding in Qatar village. I had to run after them. 1,400 kids, I'm chasing them. But they raised 70 reals, so they raised about $50,000. I don't know, $50,000 they raised. Amazing amount of money. Next week I'm going to see ABA, just around here somewhere.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to the kids there, and hopefully they're going to do a sponsored. I think they're doing a sponsored run or something. They're going to raise money for charity. I don't know which charity, but the kids choose the charity. And this is another good thing about it.
Okay. That's nice. Before we continue with that, we just got a call because we promised our listeners that we're going to take their calls.
Yeah.
I always enjoy listening to you, Nab.
Okay.
But
let's get this kid in.
Hello. Okay, yes, we've lost it. So the number to call in is 24602058. When you call in, ladies and gentlemen, please ensure that you have your radio turned off. Otherwise, it's going to interfere with our program. We can't hear you. So it's 24602058. Go ahead now.
So the great thing about this is the kids themselves, they have to choose the charity. So let's say you're a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
and you're asked by your teacher, choose a charity, you have to think about who do you believe is worse off than you. You have to think about people, you have to think about orphans, yeah, and then you eventually decide, I would like to raise money for cancer. I'd like to raise money for animal shelter. And so the kids actually, because they spend time thinking amongst themselves and discussing which charity they would like to support.
Mm-hmm.
This also, it's not just they're having some physical exercise from the sponsored activity, but they're also doing they're also getting invested into the charity that they choose.
That's very interesting. I want to get more details on that. Let me just pick up the call we have.
Yes.
Hello.
Let's go.
Hello. Okay, we've lost it again. Okay, it happens. Now, tell me one thing. You're involved in a number of humanitarian activities, and some of them that you shared right now.
Yes.
What? How many in a year? How many activities of these are you doing?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, this is the thing. It's very ad hoc. If I get asked, I'll do it.
Next week is ABA, right?
ABA, yeah. And of course, the more schools I can do, the more money I can raise for charity. So I don't advocate for any charity. The kids themselves, the schools have to choose the charity.
Okay. Hello. Now we keep. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Hi.
How are you doing? Man, who's speaking?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you so much for the show.
You're very, very welcome.
Yeah, I really appreciate, but you get us kids on an adventure.
Yes, and Nabs is going on an adventure. I would like to join him too.
Yeah, I like adventure. I like it so much. Thank you. I like it anyway.
Okay, that's very, very Nabs. Would you like to say hello to Nabs?
Okay. Apart from that, I'm having a last week I wanted to call you, but I didn't get you.
Okay. Yes, you want to call me?
I wanted to speak to Dr. Emily.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Don't say Emily was
she doesn't want to talk to me.
But we've got Nabs this week.
Yeah, last week. Please, Mr. Barwan, at least do for me a favor to give me your number so that I can get him.
Great.
I can get her.
Great. All right. Great. I'm gonna just pass on to the studio engineer, and I will definitely speak to you. We just got only 10 minutes to go, but I'm gonna catch up with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But please, I like to talk to Dr. Emily.
Sure. Thank you so much, and really nice talking to you again.
I like the show. I like everything. Thank you so much for the show, for knowledge talk. Really good, interesting.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. Nice time.
Okay,
Please, don't forget.
Yeah, I will not forget. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 24602058. We have Nabs here today. Nabil Al Busaidi. Hello?
Please have a question.
Please have a question. Hello, yes.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Very good evening. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tariq, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Very good. Okay, just a question to, I don't know his name.
Nabs,
Sorry.
Nabs the Great.
Yeah, okay.
Just Nabs.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
Cool. My name is Huda.
Huda, okay.
Okay, just a question. When you do these events, do you do it in group or, is that okay? Can you do that personally?
There are people who have done these expeditions on their own, and of course this is a different category. So when you're looking at the record books or something, they'll list different within. Let's say, for example, climbing Everest. They'll say whether you did it solo, without oxygen, with oxygen, and they'll list all these things. So I've always done my expeditions in a group because these things are terribly difficult, and going in a group is much more fun.
What I meant was, does it have to be an organization with a name?
Oh, I see. Most you can go. There's for example, let's say Kilimanjaro. There are hundreds of operators on Kilimanjaro, and some of them are very good. And it doesn't. you could pay a lot of money and get a really bad service, and you could pay a little amount of money and get a very good service. You just have to, you have to shop around and compare. But when you're talking about something like Everest, you really want to go with the one with the best reputation, the ones who have the least fatalities. And you have to remember that a lot of these real expeditions have high fatality rates. So we're talking about, let's say, 10%. I think it's 10% of people who attempt Everest die. 30% come back injured. I mean, I came back injured. So you want to go with the guys with the best reputation because it's your life. So yeah, you can go on your own if you want, but why go on your own when why would you gamble with your life? You want to you want to.
Oh yeah,
you want exactly.
Yeah,
so,
I understand. Yeah. Okay. What is
very good question? Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just another question. I mean, like, if I organize something like a group, okay, just by myself with, it's a group, like, and we call you up. Would you do like you're saying you do?
Well, you know what? If you ever wanted, if anyone, not just you, anyone wants to get in touch with me, I'm very easy to get hold of. All you have to think is Arab Adventurer. So if you go to my website, arabadventurer.com, you can email me. You can catch me on Facebook, Arab Adventurer. On Twitter, my handle is @ArabAdventurer. If you want to get me on Instagram, it's Arab Adventurer. So just remember Arab Adventurer, and the email is arabadventurer@gmail. So you can contact me, Facebook, Twitter, anything you want, any social media, or on the website. In fact, the website is probably the easiest because you can look at the things that I've done, and then you can hit the inquiry form and send me an email. So not just you, anyone else, if you need advice on anything like this, then just arabadventurer.com and send me an inquiry. Okay?
Right, okay.
Thank you very much, Huda. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Tariq, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Nice talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
We're almost done, aren't we?
Yeah, but some of the questions people have been sending.
You wanted to ask about Liverpool.
They want to ask him. Oh yes, indeed. Liverpool, you're involved in the Liverpool.
I'm very involved with the Liverpool fan base in the Middle East. I'm obviously, well, not obviously, but I've been a Liverpool fan since I was about 7. My uncle, who's a Omani doctor, I think he was doing his medical studies in Liverpool. We went to visit him, and I saw him. I was very young. I saw him screaming and shouting at the radio. I was like, what's he so excited about? And he was watching a Liverpool game. I mean, he was listening to a Liverpool game on the radio in those days. And so since that day, I've been a Liverpool fan.
Okay.
And so specifically right now, in the last few years, I've helped set up the Bahrain Reds, which is the official Liverpool supporters club for Bahrain. I've done it for Qatar, and I've done it for Oman.
Oh, that's amazing.
So... and the good thing about it is what I've done is I've made the club totally free. Anyone can join if they want. All they have to do is contact me.
That's it.
That's it. On
Arab
Facebook.
Adventurer.
Oh yeah, they can do it through Arab Adventurer, or if you go on Facebook, Muscat Reds. Muscat Reds on Facebook, Twitter, everything. It's totally free, and the benefits are we watch the games together, all Liverpool fans, and if you ever want to go to Liverpool, and like I'm going in 2 weeks to watch the Liverpool-Chelsea game, through the official Liverpool Supporters Club, I can get tickets for any Liverpool fan who is a member of Muscat Reds. Muscat Reds is free. So why wouldn't you join? Why wouldn't you come along and watch Liverpool with me and all the other Liverpool fans?
Wow, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Arab Adventure. That's Nabs. You can contact him by going to the Arab Adventure website, searching it via the social media, and you can get it over the Google. Nabs is a quiet, big personality, not just in Oman, all over the world as well. Tell me, who's your role model?
This is a good question. Not an original one. I've had no original ones, but this is a good question. I always tell kids, this is a very good question, because people say, who's your role model? And I say, you can't have one. I have a role model for football.
Okay.
I have a role model for rugby. I have a role model for religion. I have a role model for... I have different role models, because you could say... If I told you Messi's my role model, you say, well, what does Messi think about, Hajj? I have no idea. Messi is what I admire about playing football.
Football, okay.
You know? But when you talk about, entrepreneurship, Tariq is my role model.
Wow, ain't that lucky?
There's lots of things. There's we talk about Omanis. I'm very close with Mohsin Al Busaidi. He in fact, when I first met him, even though he didn't speak any English when I first met him, we felt very close together. Yeah. So when you talk about sailing, who do I always think of? I always think about Mohsin.
Okay.
Ahmed Al Hathi, the race driver.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. We're always chatting whenever we're at we get invited to events together. Lovely guy.
Yeah.
But who would you say is my role model? I would say that you should not have one. Every single aspect of your life that you want to improve on, you've got to have a different role model.
Okay. Tell me one thing. What is your next best or big thing and your next step now?
Right now, what I'm hoping to do, especially after this, is visit more schools.
Visit more schools. Oh, very good.
I want to visit more schools and I want to raise more money. At the moment, I've raised nearly $300,000.
Oh, okay.
But I want to get it up to $1 million. And it sounds like a big number, but what we're doing is we're doing the multiply effect. I go to one school, and each school has 100 kids, and each kid raises, let's say, 10 riyals.
Okay.
But the multiply effect of at the end, I'll have gone to 50, 60 schools, and to communally, we're cumulatively